You're not modeling what you think you're modeling. You think they're watching your decisions, your strategy, the way you handle the hard calls. And some of that's true, but it's not the thing that's actually shaping them. Welcome to Daily Power Boost. I'm Sean Michael. This isn't a podcast about pushing harder or fixing yourself. It's a space to see clearly how your experience is actually being created. Each episode offers a simple shift in understanding, not a tactic, not a hustle, a clearer view of thought, identity, and the patterns you've been living inside. Because when misunderstanding drops, relief rises, energy returns. You move forward with calm, sovereign clarity. This is your daily power boost. The thing that's actually shaping them is the version of you that shows up on the Tuesday when nothing is on fire. What your face does in the 3 seconds before you answer a hard question. Whether your shoulders drop when you walk into a room or whether they climb towards your ears. They're reading all of it without knowing they're reading it. And they're quietly deciding what's possible for themselves based on what they see in you. What I just described, the jaw, the shoulders, the 3-second pause, that's the actual curriculum. Not what you're teaching, not what you're saying, the version of you that people around you are quietly patterning themselves after, whether you choose to offer it or not. Because leadership isn't something you do at the front of the room. It's something you broadcast with your whole self every day on a frequency you can't turn off. The score you're keeping on yourself? Did I handle that well? Did I hold the line? That scorecard is real, but the identity driving it still believes leadership is something you perform, something you have to get right or get wrong in the visible moment. That identity, it's a holdover. It came from a version of you who once had to earn your place by being good at the thing. That version did its job. It got you here. But it's still running, still telling you that the work of leadership lives in what people can see. And the self-concept underneath hasn't been updated. You've been operating on an older map, one that was built for proving, not for leading. A founder I know had a senior person leave a few months back. Amicable, good terms, nothing dramatic. In the exit conversation, she told him something he wasn't expecting. She said, "I learned so much from watching how you are when you think no one's watching." It stopped him because he hadn't been trying to teach her anything in those moments. He was just moving through his day, making coffee, taking a walk at 4 p.m. instead of pushing through. And that was the thing she took with her. Not the frameworks, not the feedback. The permission she'd given herself by watching him be a human being inside the work. Notice what just happened in you when you heard that. If part of you felt exposed, stay with that. The feeling is the point. What you've been modeling, whether you knew it or not, is what it costs to keep performing. And the people around you have been calibrating their own ceilings to it. The leadership you don't know you're modeling is the one that's actually doing the teaching. And here's what shifts. You stop auditing your performance and start paying attention to your state. Precious way, in a practical way. You notice when you walked into the 10 a.m. with your jaw tight, and you notice that 3 people in the meeting mirrored it back to you within 90 seconds. You don't make it a crisis, you just file it. Data. You stop hiding the tired days and let your team see you take a walk at 3 p.m. instead of white-knuckling through. Not as some performance of self-care, just because it's what someone who's in it for the long run actually does. And the first thing that moves through you is not pride, it's grief. grief for the years you spent thinking the work of leadership was the visible moments, while the actual work was happening in every moment you weren't paying attention to. And then underneath the grief, something steadier, because you realized the people around you were never going to become better versions of themselves by listening to you. They were going to become better versions of themselves by watching what was possible. And now you get to be that, not by trying harder, by being more honestly the person you already are on your best days. If the people closest to you quietly became the version of you they see when you're not performing, would you be proud of what they became? Sit with that one. Don't answer it too fast. If that question opens something you didn't expect, that's the identity gap, and it's worth following. The clarity call is where we take what that question surfaced and trace it back to the self-concept underneath. The link is in the show notes. Tomorrow, we go into what happens when the person you're becoming starts to outgrow the agreements you made with the people around you. Because that moment's coming, and most leaders miss it until it's already cost them some. The people watching you aren't waiting for your next big decision. They're already becoming what they see. With strength and heart, I'm Shawn Michael. Stay close. Thanks for tuning in to Daily Power Boost. Ignite your potential. Remember, transformation starts with action. So take today's insight, make it your own, and awaken your inner potential. Because remember, greatness begins within. Catch you tomorrow for your next Power Boost.